Emotions may have a big impact on how you think and act. The emotions you experience on a daily basis can push you to act and affect the huge and minor decisions you make in your life. But why do we feel emotions in the first place? What function do they play? Lesson 3 of Module 2 will help in giving answers to these questions because it will be tackling human emotion and emotional intelligence. Here are the most essential questions set by the Department of Education. Take note of them and utilize them in order for you to focus on the essential concepts of the lesson. 1. Discuss that understanding the intensity and differentiation of emotions may help in communicating emotional expressions. 2. Explore one's positive and negative emotions and how one expresses or hides them. 3. Demonstrate and create ways to manage various emotions. Guide questions. Answer them to facilitate understanding of the lesson. 1. How is emotion processed? 2. Why is significant to harness emotional intelligence? Emotions are frequently confused with feelings and moods, but the three terms are not synonymous. The American Psychological Association (APA) defines emotion as a complex reaction pattern involving experiential, behavioral, and physiological elements. Emotions are how people deal with matters or situations that are personally significant to them. Emotional experiences give rise to feelings. Because a person is aware of the sensation, it is classified as hunger or pain. A feeling is the outcome of an emotion and can be influenced by memories, beliefs, and other factors. The American Psychological Association defines a mood as any short-lived emotional state, usually of low intensity. Moods differ from emotions in that they lack stimuli and have no obvious starting point. For example, insults can cause anger, whereas an angry mood can appear for no apparent reason. Defining emotion is a work in progress. Many researchers are still proposing theories about what makes up our emotions, and existing theories are constantly being challenged. Even so, there is a solid foundation of knowledge to examine when delving into the subject. Although defining emotion is still a work in progress, there is widespread agreement that emotions are composed of three components: subjective experiences, physiological responses, and behavioral responses. Let us take a closer look at each of these components. Subjective experiences. All emotions start with a subjective experience or personal experience, also known as a stimulus. But what exactly does that mean? While all people express basic emotions, regardless of culture or upbringing, the experience that produces them can be highly subjective. Personal experiences can range from as simple as listening to a piece of music to as serious as losing a loved one or achieving one's dream. No matter how intense the experience is, it can elicit a wide range of emotions in a single person, and the emotions each person feels may differ. For example, one person may be filled with extreme happiness and excitement when proposing to the person she greatly and truly loved, or he may be afraid that she will deny his proposal. Physiological responses. We've all experienced the sensation of our heart racing because of fear or excitement. This physiological reaction is caused by the autonomic nervous system's reaction to the emotion we are experiencing. The autonomic nervous system regulates our fight or flight response and controls our involuntary bodily responses. Many psychologists believe that our physiological responses are how emotion has helped us evolve and survive as humans throughout history. Interestingly, studies have shown that autonomic physiological responses are strongest when a person's facial expressions most closely resemble the emotion they're experiencing. In other words, facial expressions play an important role in physically responding to emotion. Behavioral responses. The actual expression of the emotion is the behavioral response aspect of the emotional response. Behavioral responses can include a smile, a grimace, a laugh, or a sigh, along with many other reactions depending on societal norms and personality. Love, for example, is expressed differently from person to person and across cultures. Behavioral responses are important not only for signaling to others how we feel, but they are also critical to an individual's well-being. One's overall health should express one's behavioral responses to stimuli, both positive and negative. There are advantages to smiling, laughing, and healthily expressing negative emotions. Emotion is much more than a mental state, as evidenced by the physiological and behavioral responses associated with it. Emotion influences our entire demeanor as well as our health. Furthermore, our ability to understand the behavioral responses of others has a significant impact on our emotional intelligence. As we've seen, emotion is complex and contentious. As a result, there are numerous theories of emotion. While some theories directly contradict others, many others build on top of one another. Here are some common theories of emotional psychology that have influenced the field and how people perceive emotions. The James-Lange theory of emotion is one of modern psychology's earliest emotion theories. The theory, developed in the 19th century by William James and Carl Lange, hypothesizes that physiological stimuli cause the autonomic nervous system to react, causing individuals to experience emotion. The nervous system's reactions could include a racing heart, tense muscles, sweating, and other symptoms. The physiological response, according to this theory, comes before emotional behavior. The James-Lange theory has been challenged and expanded upon in other theories over time, implying that emotion is a combination of physiological and psychological responses. According to the facial feedback theory of emotion, facial expressions are essential for experiencing emotion. This theory is related to the work of Charles Darwin and William James, who hypothesized that facial expressions influence emotion rather than being a reaction to emotion. According to this theory, emotions are directly related to physical changes in the facial muscles. As a result, someone who forced himself to smile would be happier than someone who frowned. The Cannon-Bard theory of emotion was developed in the 1920s by Walter Cannon and Philip Bard to refute the James-Lange theory. According to this theory, bodily changes and emotions occur concurrently rather than one after the other. This theory is supported by neurobiological science, which states that when a stimulating event is detected, the information is relayed simultaneously to the amygdala and the brain cortex. If this is correct, stimuli and emotion occur at the same time. The Schachter-Singer theory, developed by Stanley Schachter and Jerome E. Singer, incorporates the element of reasoning into the emotional process. According to the theory, when we experience an event that causes physiological stimuli, we try to find a reason for the arousal. Then we feel the emotion. This cognitive appraisal theory of emotion was pioneered by Richard Lazarus. Thinking, according to this theory, must occur before experiencing emotion. As a result, a person would first experience a stimulus, then think, followed by a physiological response and emotion. These are far from the only theories of emotion that exist, but they provide excellent examples of how different ideas about how emotion is generated are. The idea that emotion is based on some sort of personally significant stimulus or experience, prompting a biological and psychological reaction, is shared by all theories of emotion. As previously stated, emotions have aided human evolution and survival. It would be very dangerous if we didn't have emotions, said Ekman, the creator of the emotion wheel. It would also be a very boring existence. Because our emotions drive us excitement, pleasure, even anger. This is why we must understand emotions because they play such a large role in how we behave. According to Ekman, emotions are fundamentally constructive. They are influenced by what is best for our species as a whole and what we learned as children. They direct our actions in a way that should result in a positive outcome. Emotions, on the other hand, can be destructive if the emotions we've learned to be the appropriate response no longer fit our situation, or if subconscious emotions cause reactions we don't understand. Emotional awareness refers to being in touch with your emotions and putting your understanding into action. Emotional intelligence refers to the ability to do this with others as well. Emotional intelligence may have a profound impact on our lives, from our capacity to maintain long-term relationships with friends and love partners to our ability to excel in school and seek meaningful employment that gives us a sense of purpose. Emotional intelligence is the capacity to recognize and manage one's own emotions as well as the emotions of others. Emotional intelligence is generally defined as a set of skills that include emotional awareness, or the ability to identify and name one's own emotions, the ability to harness those emotions and apply them to tasks such as thinking and problem-solving, and the ability to manage emotions, which includes both regulating one's own emotions when necessary and assisting others to do the same. Emotional intelligence or EQ skills are the ability to comprehend and regulate one's emotions. They have been related to a variety of benefits, including academic accomplishment, decision-making ability, and general life success. According to Daniel Goleman, there are 5 EQ skills. Self-awareness is the capacity to perceive and comprehend one's feelings, which is an important emotional intelligence talent. To be self-aware, you must be able to monitor your own emotions, recognize distinct emotional reactions, and properly identify each one. Self-aware individuals know the links between how they feel and how they conduct. They are aware of their talents and weaknesses, are open to new ideas and experiences, and gain knowledge through their relationships with others. They have a wonderful sense of humor, are self-assured in their talents, and are aware of how others view them. In addition to self-awareness, EQ requires you to be able to regulate and manage your emotions. Self-regulation is about appropriately expressing your emotions by waiting for the right time and place to express them. Those that are good at self-regulation adapt well to change. They are also good at managing conflicts and diffusing tension. People who have good self-regulation abilities are also likely to be conscientious. They consider how they impact others and accept responsibility for their conduct. Another key part of EQ is the ability to interact successfully with people. People with great social skills can form meaningful interactions with others and get a better knowledge of themselves and others. True emotional knowledge entails using this knowledge in your regular interactions and conversations. Empathy is essential for emotional intelligence. It entails being able to identify the emotional states of others and responding to them based on this knowledge. Empathy enables you to comprehend the power dynamics that frequently impact social relationships. This is vital for steering your interactions with the many people you meet daily. Those who are skilled in this area may detect who has power in various interactions. They are also aware of how these factors impact feelings and behavior. As a result, they can properly assess various scenarios involving such power dynamics. Another key EQ trait is intrinsic motivation. Emotionally intelligent people are motivated by internal incentives, like the flow that comes from being completely immersed in an activity and seeking out peak experiences. Those that are knowledgeable in this field are usually action-oriented. They create objectives, have a strong desire for success, and are constantly seeking ways to improve. They are also incredibly devoted and skilled at taking the initiative. Incredibly